Just talk about that.
We are the crystal gems. We'll always save the day. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and Steven!
Hi.
Welcome to the stage, everybody.
Hi.
Thank you so much. What a warm welcome.
These
are beautiful
chairs.
They're wonderful. Now, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. We're really sending things off in style. I have a few questions for you guys. We have some audience questions that we'll get to. I'm trying to think of how to start off.
Wait, Moises.
Yeah?
I have a really important question.
Okay, what?
Can I ask everyone a question?
Michaela, you're in charge. You're the boss.
Okay. Zach, what is Steven's favorite candy? And then we're gonna go down.
Not my favorite candy.
Steven, what do you think Steven's favorite candy would be?
Ooh. Well, there was this one time I had a Cookie Cat limited edition candy, but they stopped selling them when they had discontinued the Cookie Cats, and it was really sad.
Sad.
I'm going to find that distributor and go and get some for you, Stephen.
You go, Pearl.
I think that Pearl would enjoy Smarties.
Wait, hold on. Canadian Smarties or American
Canadian Smarties.
Hey.
Whoa, playing to the crowd.
Because Deedee enjoys Canadian Smarties.
I love American
True story.
Smarties, but they're basically chalk.
What about Garnet?
I think Garnet would like a Kit Kat. Because in general, she just wants a break.
She also likes kitties and cats.
Yes, that. Water this for me. Would you?
Only one-eyed kitty cats.
Just one-eyed. One-eyed cats that need watering. Kit
Hey,
Kats.
what about Amethyst?
Oh, she would just eat a couple tin cans. For sure.
That's metal, bro.
Yeah.
I know what mine would be. Little runts.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, Kimberly Brooks.
That's right, you little runts.
Here, borrow my chair for a minute.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So what are you doing here?
I just wanted to drop by and threaten these guys.
Just when you
Where's
thought we
my
were
seat
safe.
here?
Well, what's it like dropping in and working with this cast?
It's pretty amazing. You guys are so super talented. It's really fun. I'm hoping I get to come back for, I don't know, a little bit of redemption.
You certainly have the support of the fans. Trust me.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been such a great experience. The fandom's unbelievable, obviously. Oh, hey, how's it going? Yeah, it's been amazing. You guys are fantastic.
Orange
Let's hear it
Diamond
for
confirmed,
Kimberly
guys.
Brooks one more time, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for crashing.
Thank you, guys.
Jasper.
All right, thanks, honey. High
You're really
fiving.
bringing
not
that
my,
back.
Not my strong point. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Call me.
What a delightful surprise that was completely spontaneous and unplanned. Now, we've got a bunch of people already lined up. I'm just going to get us rolling with a couple of things and turn it over to you because you, the fans, are the reason that we're here. I think maybe to start off with, you've seen so many fans this weekend, you've seen so many fans at so many conventions. I wonder what some of your most fun, touching, memorable fan interactions have been. There are a lot of people that Steven Universe itself means a whole lot to them. There are people who are fans of other things that you've done too. You are all multidisciplinary, magnificent, creative artists. What are some of these great fan interactions that you've had over the last few years?
I have like a funny story and I have like a really deep, heart-touching
Okay,
story.
both.
Okay, well I told one of them yesterday at my solo Q&A. Long story short, when I was 5 years old, my dad
prevented me from seeing Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed at my friend's birthday party.
It's a very adult movie. I mean,
It is rated PG, Moises. Yeah. But he was under the impression that it was inappropriate for kids. I think he saw like a parody somewhere or something that was raunchy. And I had seen the first one. Like, this was a real injustice. And I held a grudge till I was like 12 or 13, and then I probably forgot about it. But I told that story in its longer form a couple times in interviews. And I'm at SAC Anime in Sacramento, California. And somebody comes up and asks a question about Steven, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I heard you didn't get to see Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed as a kid, and I felt terrible, so here's the DVD. Which I still own to this day.
I should tell someone
Yeah,
that
that was the heartwarming story. No, actually, we were at a con in Florida, all of us, and there was this guy that came up, and I talked to his son for a little while, this little guy, and I think he went down the line to talk to you. And the dad stayed behind for a second. He's like, hey, man, I just want to say I'm a 4-tour Afghanistan veteran. I came back, was messed up with severe PTSD. Couldn't feel emotion, couldn't feel anything. Just felt dead inside. And I was trying to spend more time with my son, and he really liked Steven Universe. And I started watching it with him, and before I knew it, I'd watched the whole show, and it actually literally brought the color back to my life. And I thank you for that. I was like, no, thank you, because that's, as an artist, to hear that, something you work on in that capacity can affect someone so deeply like that. And, we hear stories from people who, the show has helped them in some way or another so often. To be a part of something like that is a great gift. And, big ups to Rebecca, because she really spearheads all of that.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. I just think I don't have a specific story because there's so many. We've been so lucky to go to so many different cities and talk to people about Steven Universe. But I just spat everywhere. I would say one of the best parts is hearing from people how the show has inspired them to keep creating, whether it's singing or writing or drawing or doing poetry. That's heartwarming and also fun. So, okay.
I did this at the solo Q&A yesterday. If you've ever done cosplay, art, music, something related to Steven Universe, like an art form, you're an artist, just raise your hand. Isn't that crazy? We have the best fandom, guys. Thank you.
I'll keep mine real quick, but today, and I sort of...
Hello?
Hi, hello. How are you? I've lost my train of thought. No, yes, it is that echo. It's like singing the national anthem in a ballpark. That echo.
Put your finger in the air.
I wouldn't know, Deedee.
Deedee, it's almost like you're cueing yourself to do so. And let's hope you know the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, Canada. I was going to say that just today, I met a family, and I was talking with a daughter, and her mother started getting, choked up and crying, watching her daughter meet somebody that she admired, and I thought, it made me tear up a little bit, just because, as a mom, when you see so much happiness that your child is experiencing, it's also as if you're experiencing that happiness too. So I appreciate that. I love when we see families that enjoy the show together. So that's
that all watch it together. It's really cool to see.
Yeah.
Well.
Estelle, I wonder, have you had aspiring musicians come up to you and talk to you about how your work has driven them forward?
Consistently, and it's a beautiful thing. Yesterday this guy came up and was singing, and was nervous, like, I'm first year school, I'm trying to sing, and to me, I'm the hard love person. It's like, no, if you're a singer, then sing, and so. We made him sing, and I was filming him on the low. He don't know that's about to be on Instagram tonight. But, I feel like every person that gets to come up and that comes up and sings or comes up and shares their talent with me, it's kind of my job to give them real useful tools, you know? So I always try and give that much energy back. And it's beautiful that people do come up and they do sing and they do give me their art. And can I just say, everyone that's come up and drawn Garnet on my table, because people have been coming up and writing and drawing on the table, shout out to you, because my Garnet looks like a stick figure with an afro. It's terrible, and this is why I do voices.
My Steven looks like a potato when I draw him.
Well, in kind with you encouraging people and supporting people, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention you got an album dropping on September 7th.
Yeah.
Who's already pre-ordered this? Who already has it on order? Shame on those of you who don't.
Pre-order today.
Pre-order today.
Everywhere.
Today.
Pre-save, pre-order, so it just comes down, and then like Friday morning, you're like, oh, it's a bomb, it's it. It's it, Lovers Rock.
You're not the only person we can buy stuff from. In fact, Zach is doing unpaid promotion for whammyba.com.
Yes. This is Michaela's merch, guys. This
Michaela,
hat. It says nice hat if you can't read it.
Because it's a nice hat.
It is a nice hat.
It really is a nice hat.
And
very
it's embroidered
comfortable,
onto a dad hat. but you
Comfortable,
don't have-
functional.
Yeah.
Totally didn't design my
with a
outfit
suit.
around it. I
And
was very impressed by your hat skills.
thank you. People like to read it and say, hey, man, nice hat.
And it makes everybody involved feel very good about it.
Yeah. Get those warm and fuzzies.
Oh my God. It goes with suits and dresses. Whatever.
what?
It goes with suits and dresses, I think.
Yeah, you can really dress it up, dress it down, whatever. It's very versatile.
Wear this with like a tux.
Yeah, it's so, because it's nice.
Next time I go to a wedding, I'm a.
Wait, but people keep asking me what the name Whammy Ba is, so I'll tell you. I don't know if anyone here has seen Wayne's World, but like when Cassandra goes to the guitar store with Wayne, and he shows her the guitar, and she's like, oh, Wayne, the double Fender Stratocaster with the Whammy Ba.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
How many times have you tagged her in posts, and this is the first time? I haven't seen Wayne's World, so the reference completely.
It's a
I'll
party
get you a
time.
DVD. No, I'll get you a VHS.
I was playing my album release show a couple months ago, and the venue in LA, the Whiskey, they have like 1,000 VHS tapes upstairs, and I got like so excited. My whole team was like, "Yo, they got Space Jam! Like, look at this, look at that!" I mean, we spent like an hour of like our load-in time. We were supposed to be downstairs, like going through these VHSs, and we ended up watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the '80s one, the good one. And I mean, they were like getting into it, like screaming at the TV, like, "Get him, boy! Get him, Raphael!" It was hype. Sorry, this VHS made me think of that.
I got two little ones, one for Deedee, one for Zach, and then we'll turn it over to you guys. Deedee, I'm a huge musical theater nerd. I think you know this by now.
I do.
Musical theater nerds in the audience. You've been in so many shows and played a number of iconic roles already in your young life, my dear. You've played Kim in Miss Saigon. You've been in Wicked. You've got your list of credits is as long as my arm, and we'd be here until tomorrow if I started listing them off. I wonder, is there a role in the musical theater that you would love to get your hands around that you have not gotten to play yet?
Oh, nobody got that. That was a Hamilton reference. Oh, thank you. I would love to play a role in Hamilton, preferably Eliza or Angelica. Angelica!
Gee, I thought you were going to say King George. What a surprise.
Oh, well, that one too, sure, why not? Why not?
Zach, you've got an album at your table that people can purchase. What influenced your music? What influenced how you wanted to jump out there as a solo artist?
I just felt a need. It felt like it was finally time to start telling my own story, and I felt like I had a perspective that was unique. Growing up and spending my entire life as an artist in Hollywood and the trials that brings. Rebecca was a big influence for me to do my own project as well. Just seeing how she, on Steven, is so in control of her own destiny and fights for the things she needs to fight for, and there's so much of Rebecca in the show that comes from her personal experience and life experience. I wanted to do something like that with everything that I was doing, and the album was the most important part of that. So it's a very, it's a concept album. It's a continuous story from beginning to end. If you haven't heard it, it's meant to tell like a true story from my life, and it gets, it gets bad and doesn't pull punches, and that's what I wanted to do. Something uncensored that gets the truth out there. If you guys want to hear it, it's on Spotify, iTunes. I'm selling the CDs at my table. It's called A Picture Perfect Hollywood Heartbreak. I just go by Zach Callison.
My boy's mad talented.
Oh, and Grace Rolick, who plays Connie, does a rap battle feature on it. So you should check it out for that at least.
Well, let's turn it over to you, the fans. Let's go right here to the microphone. Who do we have first?
Hi, my name's Anna, and I was wondering what was your favorite episode to film and why?
Favorite episode and why?
Steven and the Stevens. It's a selfish answer because there's just so many Stevens, but it's a very unique, fun episode.
Mr. Greg. Because it was a musical episode, and I got to sing It's Over, so that was my favorite to record.
Maybe Hit the Diamond?
That's one of my faves
Because
too.
Charlene Yee, who plays Ruby, was in the booth just like sweating and huffing and puffing from voicing so many characters. That was enjoyable to watch.
Mindful education, I think, because I get to sing, take a moment, and that's my favorite song ever and ever. So ever.
Yeah, I thought I had it hard with Steven and the Stevens, but Charlene was 6 rubies in one episode. It's hardcore. It's even crazier.
Great question.
Next up, go for it.
Hi, my name is Reggie, and I was wondering if you finished any new episodes that we haven't seen yet.
You know, I think that question sounds a lot like, do you like your job and want to keep it?
We love our job.
There's going to be more Steven Universe?
There's a movie.
Yeah, the movie's
There is a
coming
movie.
out.
Oh, I bet there's probably something that you can tell us about the movie.
Let me tell you all about the movie. It is
It is coming.
So good.
it
you
is
guys.
definitely a movie.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It is
Now, nobody put that online or anything. We don't want to get them in trouble.
it is Steven Universe. It is a movie. And
It's a trailer
It's
out?
animated. It's an
It
animated
is
movie.
animated.
Yeah.
No, actually no, it's like
That detail...
That would be insane.
surprise.
Gonna be in it.
No, it's a movie.
In cosplay. Wouldn't that be fun, though? Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, maybe to give our young fans something, how difficult is it to keep things secret that you are having to keep secret? Big reveals, big changes, big things that are happening in the show. Is it real tough, or are you pretty much an ironclad gate?
My mommy brain is, it's really good for keeping secrets, I think. I just simply forget that I've been told the secret.
That is part of a trick, though. Like I try not to read the scripts before I go in, and I leave them at the studio. I delete them out my accounts. Like, you will not catch me slipping. No.
I'm just out here trying to not Tom Holland on y'all. That'd be bad. You can't keep a secret to save his life. Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, Marvel has had to like place restrictions on him because he means so well. He accidentally spoils things all the time. And in the MCU, that's kind of a problem. So, yeah.
Sad.
He doesn't do panels.
No, I'm paranoid that I
I
could
don't think
become
they let him do panels. Great question that unfortunately we had to spin off to the side. Next up.
Hi. What was your reaction to the wedding episode?
It's mad cute.
dope.
It's mad cute.
It made me so proud to be associated with Steven Universe.
Yeah.
And then to watch it, the end where Garnet's like dancing with herself. That was such a highlight. I'm gonna start pulling that at weddings. Like on the D floor, like just by myself. You know.
When I heard the demo, Rebecca's demo for the song, I was like, oh, yo, this is advanced. This is next level. And it's, I think, the longest song I've ever done for the show. It's like a full length, like 3 or 4 minute thing. And it's very fun to do.
You sound great in it, too.
Thank you.
Yes.
I loved all the outfits.
Yes.
I loved
That
what
too.
everybody wore to the wedding.
I think they look very cute. I think they're just it's
Thank
a
you.
beautiful dress. It was a whole rotation. They looked wonderful. And they got married, and Garnet came back. I was happy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. My question is, each of your characters has grown and developed throughout the show. How have each of you as actors grown with your characters and connected to them?
I think Rebecca's kind of like allowed us to kind of like just being around us, she's kind of written more of us into the characters. So more personality. Where Garnet was very flat at the beginning, you know, and she still kind of is flat. You kind of see her more now being a bit more gentle with Stephen and the rest of the, you know, and Pearl and Amethyst and talking to them nicely and then being like, back to work. So, you know, I think she's let us be more of who we are, you know, in the characters. She's let me use my voice more. Like I've learned how to say in 50 different ways. That's been fun.
I'm like 10 inches taller, so I've definitely grown over the course of the show.
True story.
Steven and I, like, we basically grew up together, and we've been through a lot of like similar arcs in life, I feel like, which it's very interesting as a character study to spend so much time with a character in such a formative part of your life and both be sort of aging at a similar pace.
Did you say Asian?
Agent.
Oh, Asian.
Asian at a similar pace.
Sorry, I misheard that. I got really excited for a second.
So yeah, I definitely, I think there's a lot to be said about what growing up while the character was growing up and how that made it more organic and made me more attached to Steven, affected how it went. I don't know if that was intentional with Rebecca. I know there's some things that the team, you know, takes from us as people and writes into the characters, and we've definitely had a lot of influence on what our characters are like. But I don't know if it was intentional that like let's get a kid so he can age over the course of the show, and you know just have it basically be a time capsule of all that over the years. It worked out for the best, I think.
I think it's such a talent that you've been able to keep your voice sounding so youthful over the years.
Thanks. That was a whole thing. I was very panicked during puberty because I lost 2 other roles on other shows, and you know it was never mentioned on Steven, but you know my paranoid brain is like, they're having backroom meetings about my vocal cords. Like it's over, it's done, and that was never a point of discussion at all. But I was paranoid and was every voice crack it made me more fearful. So that was a very stressful period for me. I was in vocal lessons like 2-3 times a week trying to get the range back. But
You sound great.
thanks. I feel better about my voice now than before, so I think it worked out.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Next
Pearl
up,
point. That's right. Pearl points.
Next up.
Thank you. First of all, I really look up to you guys, and you guys are amazing.
That's a really cool thing to hear out of Peridot's mouth.
Yeah, thanks.
Great limb enhancers.
That's a new direction, Peridot. I'm proud of you.
What was the most difficult scene to voice act?
Can I go for this? Okay, so, and this kind of piggybacks off of the last question. So while Amethyst's arc was happening, she was going back to the kindergarten and discovering her origins. That was happening at the same time in my life when I was searching for my biological parents in Korea. I'm a Korean American adoptee. And so I read that script when she was going back, and I mean, it just, oh God, it was so moving, and it came by surprise for me. And I got very emotional, and even in the booth when we were recording it. But the funniest part about it is that I asked Rebecca, because Rebecca knows I'm an adoptee, and at the time, the boarders didn't know. And it's crazy that they just wrote that into the character, but I was experiencing the same exact thing. So.
Rebecca's an empath, low-key. Like, the whole...
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Rebecca,
man.
they're all empaths. They all,
yeah.
of... They have us in the room, and then they kind of, like, I don't know, because I've walked in a couple times, been going through stuff, and had to sing or had to read stuff, and I'm like, why are you in my house?
Yeah. Get out of my head.
Get out of my head. This is strange. Okay. And then say the words. It's very strange. So I feel that it's very eerie.
And even with the casting, like, did they know we were all gonna be family? Like, did she just know that we would vibe like this?
Yes.
It's
She
apparently,
knows everything.
apparently Pearl had some foreknowledge of this that none of us knew about.
Well,
a conspiracy. Trust no one.
one thing that's difficult for me is when Pearl has really a wordy script. And when she's describing something technical or something to do with the history of the gems, those are difficult for me in the booth, and oftentimes I have to do a few more takes of them to get all the words in.
But you do it.
I try to do it.
She gets it done.
Just do your best, everyone. Just do your best.
For me, the fight scene at the end of Bismuth was tough because it was like he's trying to fight, but he's also like trying not to fight while he's fighting. And it was a weird thing that I didn't quite pick up just from the script. We had to like go through the storyboard and pick out like exact reactions where certain things were happening and like really try to nail in that. Like, I'm defending myself, but like, don't get hurt type thing. And on that same note, Storm in the Room was tough too because it's like, everything's awesome, everything's great, except it's not, and I know it, but I have to pretend it's not. Steven knows that something's wrong the whole time, but refuses to admit it. So that kind of layered thing is definitely takes some nuance and a little bit of extra time to really lock in.
I would say it's making all of the fighting noises.
Yeah.
Oh, it has challenged me in ways that I'm not used to doing. No, it's like they say, do a jumping effort, and you're like, huh. And then they're like, do a landing effort, and you're like, huh. And then they're like, nah, something else, and you're like, huh? It's so like, and then you physically start doing it, and then you can't do it too much because like you'll make a sound in the booth. So you like have to like light jump or like light land. It's just very strange.
I might be confusing this with someone else, but I think somebody told me wasn't there a time where that like you guys spent like over 20 minutes on the word yes?
Yes. Yes.
That happens sometimes. Occasionally there'll just be some like tiny little line that seems very easy at first glance that you end up spending like so much time on. You never know which ones it's going to be. And then a monologue you'll knock out in 5 minutes.
Well, not me.
Depends on the monologue. Some take forever. But yeah, sometimes the word yes will really put a damper on your day.
On a similar note, Deedee, you've got about 1,000 variations of the word Stephen that you have gotten to perform. How has keeping the word Stephen fresh over the years been for you?
Oh, I simply just look at the picture of Pearl that's drawn, and sometimes it's more of a Stephen or a Stephen. I just look at the drawings.
The best was when you were in If Then, and was it If Then?
Yeah.
And you said the name.
Stephen, that's right. I had to say, I was married to a man in the show, his name is Stephen, and I said his name every night in the show. I said Stephen, and I guess I maybe sounded like Pearl.
It did. I was in the audience and I laughed, and it was not a funny part.
It was not a funny...
Yeah, there was a few scattered like laughs from the people that were there from the crew. It was really good though. You guys were awesome.
You're great.
And Stephen was played by Clifton, your husband.
Oh, actually, no. This was
was
a
a different
different show.
production?
This is a different show. That was Next to Normal that you saw.
Oh, I'm thinking. I'm tripping. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You're not. No, you're just fine.
Thank you. Great question.
Wait,
Next
wasn't there somebody named Stephen in Next to Normal? Am I misremembering that?
I think you are.
Maybe Zach has
Never
mommy brain.
mind.
Maybe. You were in the show. No.
I'm really misremembering it then. I haven't done theater
Thank
in
you.
many years.
Next up.
Thank you, Peridot.
Hi. All of you have made me cry at one point or another with your beautiful performances, so thank you very much. My question is, I've wanted to voice act for over a decade, and I'm too afraid. I'm wondering, how do you break through that fear and just have all the fun that you clearly have when you perform?
Practice. Practice. Come up with different voices. I said to somebody, what I do for fun, you know the Snapchat app, right? You know they got different faces, right? So there's this one face, right, that's like she does like an upside down smile, like it's really ugly. And so I practice with different voices with that face. So like I got one that's like an auntie from the UK, and she gets really angry at the end of every line. So she'll be like, all right, mate, it's good to see you, but I'm really happy. And it looks funny, and you kind of get that voice in your head and that practice. So if you just practice on one or two voices and just get confident, you'll have something to walk into when you feel scared. You know what I mean? Practice makes perfect, but then you're prepared for whatever you have to walk into, and you're there. And it's there, and it's in the back of your brain, and it's ready to go. So I just say practice. Have something ready to go, so when that time comes, you're not scared. You have something. You know what I mean? That's it.
Thank you.
I'd say, sorry, do you want to?
No, you.
I'd say before you get up in front of an audience and take that leap, because there's always going to be some stage fright. That never goes away. But it can become manageable. What you have to make sure you're doing is perform for yourself and your own joy first. When you're alone and you're enjoying doing the work and doing the voices and goofing off, really find the joy in that, and then just do the same thing in front of an audience. Like when I started doing my concerts for my music and going on tour, I'm crazy on stage. Like I jump around, I get in the pit, like I dance with people, like I lay down on the floor, like it's a whole thing. And my mom was talking to somebody, and they're like, wow, that's like, I've never seen him perform before. Where'd that come from? She's like, he's been doing that in his bedroom for like 10 years, like listening to music. You have to find the joy in it for your own love of performing, and then, just share that with the world instead of, going up and you don't have anything to prove except the love of the craft to yourself,
And going off of that, I think there's, this is easier said than done, but there's an acceptance of self. I think you are you. You're not going to be anyone else. What you bring into the audition, that's it. You can only bring you. You can bring your craft. I mean, everything else that Zach, what's your name? Zach and Estelle have talked about here. But once you're in the booth, or once you're in the room and then you leave, it's over. There's nothing you can do to change that. So leave it all in there, and know that, okay, maybe they don't like you. Maybe they don't like you just for this role, but you'll get the next one, or the next one after that, or the next one after that. So don't be afraid of no. Yeah.
And I can also share with you, sorry, what is your name?
Leia.
Sorry?
Leia, like
Leia?
a
Hi,
princess.
Leia. I can share with you, too, that just before we came out here, I was getting very nervous about being out here. So it doesn't go away, but and it can. I mean, it can. Obviously, it got away from me before I'm getting nervous just talking about it right now. So I just don't want you to think that you're alone feeling those things, because it happens. It happens. It's a natural feeling, and you just kind of work with it. You accept it, and you work with it, and maybe you can use it in your performance, right? But yeah, as they all have said, and Estelle says, practice. And the more you do it, the more the less afraid you might get, or the less fearful you might get. But yeah, just as everybody's, I'm just piggybacking on all of what everybody else has said too. But yeah, just don't feel like you're alone, because you surround yourself with people who care about you and want you to do well.
Thank you so much. You're going to make me tear up
Wonderful
again.
advice.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Now, they're telling me that we've got about 5 minutes left, but I feel like we can maybe go lightning round and get through as many of you as we can. Sound good? Think we can do it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Go.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Pink.
So I am genderless, and as are most of the gems apart from Steven, to my knowledge. And I'm wondering when you learned that the gems were genderless, and also the significance that you think it has in them.
I think we knew quite early on, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were described as gems, not as he's or she's. They were just described as crystals. So we were like, bet.
Me too.
Bet.
And I think it's great, the impact it's having. I think definitely it's part of the larger conversation now, which is great. I think Stevani has given a voice to a lot of people, and I think people are finally learning about pronouns. And it's amazing that this show can educate so many people without like forcing, issues down their throat, and do it in such an artful way. So, yeah.
Sorry, I got pink.
Great question.
Thank you.
Hi there, big fan. Just for hypothetical funsies, I'm curious, whatever happens if the resources run dry and all the gems have to go get jobs?
What?
What do you think they'd all do for gainful employ, and how would Steven help them?
As somebody said at my Q&A yesterday, jewelry store. I think it's my favorite question I've ever been asked at a panel. It's like, how would the gems react to a jewelry store? I'm like, I don't know. That would be kind of messed up.
I feel like I could see the future and we good. I don't think we'll ever have to do that.
Yeah, Garnet would do great on Wall Street.
I think we're all right.
I feel like Amethyst would be the guy, the like person at the dump who like welcomes the trucks in, helps weigh all the junk, and it's
Spins a sign.
Yeah, that would be
That's so
Amethyst.
specific. Have you thought about this extensively?
Wait, actually, true fact. So I'm from like a super rural town in upstate New York, and I told this to someone recently, and they're like, "This is how you bonded with your dad?" But I remember he'd be like, "Hey, Mac, I'm going to the dump. You want to come?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." That was just like, I would just ride to the dump with him, and he would like, I don't know. I can't even. Anyway, there was no large item pickup in our town, so you'd have to go to the dump. It was lovely.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michaela.
I think Pearl would work at the laundromat because she's so good at folding clothes.
I want to fold clothes for you.
Oh, come on, Jacob. Come on, Zach Cole. I see it.
I love that song.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
Make it feel good.
Thank you.
Hi, folks. Really big fan again of your work, as a lot of people have said, and just thank you so much for like bringing these characters to life and teaching everybody valuable life lessons, and just helping not only like I get that you guys discover more about yourselves as you go through the show, but I've discovered a lot about myself as I watch the show as well. So I just want to thank you for that, especially for you, Deedee. Pearl, my heart just goes out to Pearl so much. She's helped me through a rough time with like a friend that essentially ghosted me out of the middle of nowhere, and like her situation with Rose, it just related to me so much, and I just,
No tears, no
thank
tears.
you so much. Anyway, question, let's not do this. You bond very much with your characters, but as you're going back to watch the shows after they've aired and after the animation is done, is there a different favorite character that you have that you aren't voicing? So like second favorite character that you have in the show. Again, you don't voice the gem or human. Who's your favorite character other than yourself?
Always Peridot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not
Here.
wrong. You're not
Same.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I like Sadie.
Bismuth, and I think she has so many amazing moments without words, just like her actions, like taking a like head bath in lava. Sign me up, but don't actually sign me up.
Thank you again so much, guys.
Thank you.
So I have good news and bad news. The good news is you four are here the rest of the day, right?
Yes.
Yes, come to our booth.
The bad news is this is our last question that we've got time for, and it's a testament to the fandom that we have so many people lined up that if we'd been here 3 hours, we wouldn't have gotten through everybody. But these are some of the most generous, wonderful people that we have at this show. Go and see them if you haven't seen them. Go and see them if you've already seen them. take up their time. They will give you nothing but generosity and love.
You're just saying that. You don't have to say that.
Well, the check cleared, Zach, so yes, I am saying it. Thanks again.
Buddy.
Go for it.
Hi, everyone. I'm a huge fan, and the songs in this show are just amazing. So I wanted to know, what is your favorite song to sing as your character? What, moved you in the show?
Take a moment. That's my joint. It calms me down in real life. I listen to it and just woosah. Oh, here comes the fun. It does that for me, real life. So that's it. That's my joint.
I listen to that song too, and actually I know a bunch of younger adoptees, and that's how they deal with anxiety. They go to these groups and they play the song. So that's my favorite to listen to. To sing, I love the extended theme song because of the harmonies. Just chill.
And the EDM drums on that song are banging.
So good.
I like it's over.
Like our panel.
Big yikes.
Sorry.
Very on brand. Very, very on brand.
That's my favorite song from the show. And I sang it once, and I need to do it again because it was a lot of fun. She wasn't there. We're going to fix this. Of my songs, I sang It's Over in Sweden at the con I went to.
Could you guys do a duet one day?
Please, I would love to. Bet on it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Of my songs, I'd say Both of You and the new one, Let's Only Think About Love. They're my two favorites so far. But you can't go wrong with any of them.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One little thing for me, just as a button. There is so much Steven Universe merchandise out there. This has become quite the phenomenon. Is there any of the merch that you particularly love, that you think is particularly cool, or it's weird that something exists, of the things that people have brought up to you to have signed, that you've seen in stores and so on?
I love the pink lions. I don't people want us to sign the lions, and I'm always like, can I keep this one? I could never find them, pink lions.
Yeah, I like the plushies too.
Yeah.
And they've got little ones now at the Hot Topic.
Oh, the Topic.
This panel brought to you by Hot Topic, available in every mall, everywhere.
Endorsement, please. In Connecticut, one cosplayer brought me a felt bag of chaps.
Oh.
Pretty funny.
Of the official merch, you can't go wrong with the cheeseburger backpacks.
Yeah.
It's classic. Cheeseburger backpack.
I see you.
Cheeseburger backpack.
I see you.
Hey. And then there's the button-up shirts with the stars on them. It's really subtle. I feel weird wearing the show's merch normally because I feel like I'm stunning or something. That's just a personal thing
I would
for
be
me.
wearing that button up if Cartoon Network had come through on the endorsement.
There you go. I love wearing that one because it's subtle and if somebody knows that I work on the show, it's hey, but otherwise it's just a cool looking shirt. So it's secret.
It's almost like the signifier though, when I'm out and I see people with the t-shirt, I'm just like, all right.
Yeah. I've struck up conversations with people with Steven shirts in Starbucks before and just talked to them for a couple minutes and never knew. Half the time, most of the time, they never know, and it's kind of a trip.
Those shirts sure would look great with a nice hat. When you go out to buy Estelle's new album on September 7th.
September 7th, Lovers Rock, go get it. Next week, Friday, turn up.
Well, from me and I think from everybody in here, thank you so much. Let's hear it once again for the cast of Steven Universe, everyone.
Okay, wait, I gotta do it in 3 parts. Hold up.
Those lights are so bright. Killed it.
Well done.
Y'all killed it.